If people ask me fairly often, so what is life like in Charlotte after moving here? Well, let me give you the pros and cons that I've found so far. I'm Kevin, a local real estate agent here in the Charlotte area, and if you're thinking about relocating to the Charlotte area or within the Charlotte area, I want to hear from you. Shoot me a text, give me a call, email, doesn't matter, whatever you prefer, I'm here to serve. And if you find value in these videos, consider subscribing, it will greatly be appreciated. Now, let's talk about some of the pros and cons of living in Charlotte. Now, after being here for a while, I gotta say, Charlotte is just a really cool place to be. Obviously, nothing is perfect, but let's talk about some of the cool things that I found in Charlotte and I really do enjoy about the city. Pro number one, the cost of living. Now, hear me out. I know Charlotte's getting a little bit more expensive, we'll talk about it, but compared to other major cities on the East Coast or even on the West Coast, Charlotte is definitely still affordable. So for example, let's say you have a household income of $70,000 here in Charlotte. If you wanted to maintain your lifestyle in New York City, you would have to bring in $176,000. That is over $100,000 more just to maintain. You're not even increasing anything, you're just maintaining. If you want to buy a house, the housing market in New York is about 41% higher than it is here in the Charlotte area. I mean, that's a good chunk of change more. So where the median price here is around 380, you're talking about almost 680 in New York. So that's a bigger expense that you have to consider if you want to move to one of these areas. So, and for that reason, I'm saying for the amenities that you get from living in Charlotte and the city offers, I mean, it's still affordable. Pro number two, and that's actually a reason why we're here as well, is the job market. So Charlotte is probably the number 2 financial sector in the United States, right after New York. I mean, you have Bank of America here, you have Wells Fargo having a big hub here, you have Truist here. I mean, even outside of that, Lowe's is here, you have Honeywell that is here, you have a lot of manufacturing going on. So there's a lot of jobs here in the Charlotte area. And like I said, we came for the same reason because my wife took a job in healthcare, so which is also a big sector here. I feel like there's a healthcare provider or hospital in every corner. I'm exaggerating, of course, but that is why we are here, and that's why a lot of people come here, and that's one of the pros about Charlotte is the booming job market. Number 3 is outdoor recreational activities, which I am a huge fan of. I mean, Charlotte, the way it's located, and that was a big draw for us as well. You can be in the mountains in some greenery, out on some trails in like an hour and a half. You can be at the beach in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. I mean, that is just fantastic. You can literally go there on a weekend trip. No matter, do you want to be in the mountains or you want on the beach? You can make it happen. But even within the city and around, there's so many different trails or parks. So I like mountain biking, and I can literally hop on a bike from my house, ride 5 minutes, and I can be on a trail. So that is awesome. So if that's something, you know, that you value as well, I mean, Charlotte is a good place for that. Pro number 4, Charlotte has all 4 seasons. So throughout the year, you're going to get a little bit of change in pace, which is nice. You actually have a spring, you actually have a fall, which is my favorite. The fall here is absolutely gorgeous. The weather is fantastic. I lived in Tulsa. You don't have fall seasons. The spring and the fall are like a few weeks out of the year, and then it's either hot or cold. So here you actually get all 4 seasons, which I definitely enjoy. Number 5, you actually have pro sports here, a lot of sports. So you have an NFL team, the Panthers. I know, they are having not such a good season right now, actually a very horrible season right now. So this is 2023 when I'm recording this, so this season was a bust. But nonetheless, there are sports teams here. It's still a fun thing to do. They have NBA, the Hornets, they have MLS, they have Charlotte FC. So if you're into sports, Charlotte can offer that. Number 6, I do want to throw this one in here as well, is the food scene. I mean, me and my wife, we like going out and trying new restaurants or bars, and there is such a good diversity of food, and the food is pretty darn good from what I've tried. So if you're a foodie, Charlotte definitely has something for you, and there's a ton of restaurants to choose from, so you will be excited if that's something that you're into. Now, unfortunately, nothing is perfect. There's always another side of the coin, so let's talk about some of the cons. Con number one, and it definitely grinds my gears, is the traffic. Traffic here can definitely be bumper to bumper, and it can stink, it sucks. So I live in Belmont, right outside of Charlotte, and when I take 85 home in the afternoon or evening, it is such a slowdown, it is a drag, it literally brings out the worst in people. So that is definitely something that is going to be a con when you move here, is to deal with traffic. I mean, there's like 100 or over 100 people moving here on a daily basis, so eventually the infrastructure is not going to be able to, you know, keep up with all the demand of traffic. So you gotta deal with some traffic. So that's a con. Con number two, even though Charlotte is still affordable, especially, and people that lived here would be like, man, I don't know, Kevin, but I know Charlotte is definitely getting more expensive. The housing prices are definitely on the rise, especially in the city and desirable areas. It is getting definitely more expensive. So that is something to consider going forward, that the cost of living here is going to go up, especially housing, just because it is such a desirable city and such a growing city where when it happens, things get expensive. Now, con number three, my wife probably will put this right on top, is the humidity in the summer. It is muggy, it can get hot. If you just showered, you walk outside, you're pretty much drenched again, and it gets a little uncomfortable. And it's the weather, it rains a lot in the summer. There's like sporadic thunderstorms here, so which keeps it humid. So the humidity, it sucks, but I mean, small price to pay. Con number four, public transportation. Now, it exists. They do have a light rail that goes in Charlotte, but compared to like other big cities like New York City or like Chicago or anything like that, the public transportation is not as efficient. It is not as well developed in order to really utilize it and be able to go to a lot of places and not having to use a car. Now, some spots, like I say, if you live in Midwood Plaza, if you live in Optimus Park, or if you live in Noda, you can use the light rail and go into the city. For those people, that's awesome. Like if you live in the city and you don't want to deal with the traffic, use the light rail. But the options are not there for a big population to be able to do the exact same thing. So that's a little bit of a con for the size of the city, so hopefully that will change, and I'm sure at some point it will. Well, there you have it. Those are the pros and cons that I found for myself, are some of the biggest ones that Charlotte has to offer or doesn't have to offer. I hope you found value in the content of this video. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. And if those questions are real estate related, again, I would love to hear from you. Call, text, does not matter. Until next week, see ya.